Good morning. It is the 31st of July 2023. I'm Karen from karenturpin.com. And this week I'm going to talk to you about why trusting yourself is your greatest power and why the world needs you to speak your truth. So I put a post up this week in my Facebook group and on my page about how things started to change in my business mostly, but also in my life in general. Started to change for the better, I have to say, when I let go of what everyone else was telling me to do. And when I started to trust my inner guidance 100% in every aspect of my life, I discovered that, and mainly this was business coaches that I had at the time, but I'm going back a while now. They were advising me to do things in my business that I know made sense because I could see other people having good results with that. But for me, everything about it felt wrong. It felt out of alignment for me. And I was really feeling compromised and kind of squeezed into a box, as if I couldn't breathe in that space. And so everything inside of me really was screaming, don't do that thing, right? Even though to my logical mental mind it made sense. But everything in my body was just like, no, don't do this. So finally, maybe I'm a slow learner, but finally I listened and everything changed. I got into alignment, my business grew. That overflowed into my life and I felt happy and absolutely blessed by life. So I asked in my groups this week as well, do you trust yourself? And people have answered both yes and no, mostly yes. And so in talking with them, I discovered as well that even though they say, yes, I trust myself, they still often don't trust themselves enough to act 100% on their own intuition or inner guidance. So they have a level of self-trust, but it's not complete in its most powerful form or powerful aspect, and that is the intuition or inner knowing. So they trust themselves enough to do the things they know they need to do or they are told to do, but they rarely act on that inner guidance unless it's validated by someone else. So if they go to someone and say, oh, I had this idea and I thought I might do this, if the other people say, yes, that's a good idea, then they will act on it. But if they don't get that validation from an external source, then they don't trust themselves enough to act upon it. I thought that was interesting because as children, we're not like that. We learn through our mistakes, of course, and through our punishments. And so our parents will either give us permission to do certain things or they won't. And then if we do them, or if we don't do as we're told, or if we go against what the parent says, we are punished. And that's where our fear starts, the fear of trusting ourselves, the fear of doing what we feel inspired to do. Because the fear is that if we do the wrong thing, we will be punished for doing that. Or that if we do something that's not well accepted by the external world or by other people, that there will be a bad outcome from that. So something that we feel inspired to do or say, if it's received negatively, that's not going to be good for us, is it? And we start to learn that as a child. So if every time we did something that's a little bit different, we were punished for it, pretty soon we'd learn not to be different. We would learn to fit in, to conform, so that we could avoid being punished. That stunts our expression to be who we truly are, and it takes away our courage to even try. And of course, that's compounded over time as well. And if every time we spoke up and we shared our opinion or our viewpoint about something, if someone said to us, nobody's interested in what you've got to say, nobody asked for your opinion, or what is common, children should be seen and not heard, all of that teaches us that what we have to say, nobody's interested in, or we might even get punished for saying it. That teaches us to suppress our truth for fear or ridicule or for fear of being punished. So if each time we had an idea of something that we could do that felt really exciting to us, instead of acting upon it and risking getting in trouble, pretty soon we start to shut ourselves down. It's kind of like self-censoring. So, I feel really inspired to do this. Oh, no, better not. I'm going to shut myself down. That's self-censoring. And really, that is committing the ultimate in self-betrayal. When our soul wants to express something, to do something, to create something, and we shut it down continually, our soul feels that, our spirit feels that. It grieves that. It grieves the fact that we've shut it down from expressing itself. Because, our inspiration and our intuition, all of that comes from our spirit. It's our intuition, it's our inner voice, it's our inner guidance. It's all of that. And it's important. And it's our power. It's what makes us who we are. It is part of our magnificence, I like to say. And yet what we've learned to do is shut it down, suppress it, ignore it, and become like everyone else, almost like an automatron, right? Just going along with the crowd, acting the same as everybody else. And yet, if we could take our power and create an amazing life for ourselves, living at our highest potential, wouldn't that be fantastic? Maybe we could actually make a positive change in the world. Maybe we could be a force of good in the world. And then all that creativity that's inside of you, your unique gifts and talents, if you took them and shared them with the world and expressed all of that creativity within you, maybe then you would feel fulfilled, happy. Because the reverse of that is that you disempower yourself. You are impotent. You are unexpressed. And maybe that's why you feel unfulfilled and frustrated in life. Because you are the one shutting yourself down. Maybe that's the ultimate crime, in a sense, shutting down our own spirit in order to conform. That's a very painful feeling to my heart when I think about that. It's the ultimate helpless and hopeless. And yet, so many people have experienced that throughout history, but also very much over the last few years. This is a state that many people are experiencing right now, suppressing their spirit and feeling disconnected. And very often we've done this to ourselves. We've agreed to it. So to change that, to become the power that we truly are, we have to stand up and say no. No more will I betray my spirit, my own soul. Because right now, so many people are just going along, following the program that governs us, governs our mental mind. That's what government is, governing our mental capacity to be creative, governing our right to choose who we are and how we express ourselves. And it declares that we have to do certain things, and we have to go along with that for fear of punishment from the government if we don't. It's just like when we were kids. Our parents used to punish us for not doing the right thing, and now the government will punish us for not doing the right thing in their eyes. But we're not kids anymore. We're adults, and we need to start acting like adults and speaking up about the things that are not in alignment for us. In fact, the things that are detrimental to us, to life. We were taught to shut up, basically, through fear as children. And many people are still doing that today as adults. Through shutting up and going along with orders, you are agreeing to be governed. When we say nothing about what they want us to do, they presume that we are agreeing. That's implied consent, because we're not standing up and saying no. We are invited to engage and comply with what they offer us. And if we don't speak up and say no, then we actually have accepted their offer. And we are agreeing to their terms. We are now in a contract with them, in a sense, actually in a truth. Have you ever felt sick in your stomach when you realize that you've just agreed to something that's wrong for you? Could be a business deal, it could be a relationship, could even be an invitation. You know, come along to this thing, and you're going, yeah, I'll be there. And inside you're going, oh, God, I don't want to go. You know that sick feeling, right? That's your body telling you everything about this is wrong for you. Especially when you have that feeling that something is wrong, but you override it, ignore it, and do that thing anyway. Well, that's self-betrayal that you just felt. It's horrible. It's betrayal of your soul, your spirit, is how I express it. So people are feeling that massively, of course, over the last few years for obvious reasons. Many of them betrayed themselves massively, and they feel sick about what they did. This causes a kind of fragmentation or a breakdown inside for many people. And as we move forwards, we will be pushed and squeezed even more so, because that's what they have planned. And they are assuming that we will comply. They want to control every aspect of our life and even govern the way we think and feel. And if this feels right for you, then you need do nothing, because you're already giving implied consent. However, if everything about that feels wrong, if everything in your body is telling you this is not the way it was meant to be, then you have to stand up and speak up and say no. You have to find the courage that you didn't have as a child to speak up against your parent, perhaps. We are in this situation where when we continually betray ourselves, not speaking up, not being true to ourselves, when we're continually overriding our inner knowing on every aspect of our life, we end up fragmented on the inside. It literally is like parts of the soul feel so suppressed and betrayed. It's almost like it shuts down, like a child cowering in a dark corner, afraid to be seen, afraid to speak up for fear of punishment. We feel small, we feel helpless, we feel hopeless, and we feel absolutely powerless. Everything that is the opposite of who you truly are. So this is all about how you use your energy, how you find your power, and how you use that power to create a life that you love, that is supportive of life, and that contributes to a beautiful, conscious, thriving society. And this, to me, is all about truth, liberation, and sovereignty. Because how you are aligned to your spirit, to your soul, to the divine, to God, all of that is what you're here to do. It's your expression of your spirit. This is you, in a sense, doing God's work. It's for the greater good of all. When we come here and we speak out lovingly to support everybody else's freedom and liberty and sovereignty, which is, of course, the opposite of what we see that they want to roll out. We don't want to be suppressed and squeezed and squashed into a corner. We want to be free, to be alive, to be inspirited, in spirit. Let our soul express its truth. And that's why it's so important for you now to trust your inner knowing so that you choose things that are in alignment for you. And to have the courage to speak up about the things that are important to you. This is the time that we're in now. Your voice can make a difference in the world for everybody. You can be a force of good in this world for the greater good of all. So please trust your inner knowing. Stand up, speak your truth, and be the power that you are. Well, I hope that's given you a few things to think about and inspired you. Before I go, I want to mention that I have a course coming up. 17th of August we open. It's called Power and Potential, and it's specifically on this subject, actually, because I think it's the time right now. So in this course, we will be discovering exactly where you gave your power away, and we'll be reclaiming that power and healing any fragmented parts that you've got within you that were caused by your own self-betrayal. So it's a really important process for bringing you back into wholeness so that you can be all that you truly are. We'll be looking at how you use your energy and how you shift into a more empowered version of yourself. And that will be through developing the trust of your intuition, your inner knowing. It's all about empowering you to live your highest potential. So if you're interested in that course, send me a message, DM me. Look out for it because it's coming very soon. I think it's really, really important at this time to help you to stand in your truth and to trust your knowing, which is so vitally important on the planet for all of us right now. So, as I say, I hope that's given you something to think about. Like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your friends if you think it will help them. Otherwise, I will see you here, same time, same place next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.